right-footed copy. Oh!
Bang! That one goes down.
Champions! He takes that chance. Aguero!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the SFN, the Sports Fans Network. I am the CHALL, and welcome to another edition of The Final Whistle, where we give you a bunch of football match reviews from across worldwide leagues and domestic competitions and international trophies as well. AFC Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 0. Bournemouth were the better team in the Premier League this evening, and Arsenal were fruitless and hopeless. Arsenal, as it says in the title, are not scary. Now, before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this video. Arsenal are not scary. It was proved tonight. Arsenal just looked lacklustre. I just feel like Arsenal were swimming through porridge at times. They were a bit hopeless. They sat deeper. They struggled to retain the ball for long periods of time, it felt like. Bournemouth had a lot more pace about them. I think the first kind of 15-20 minutes almost felt like a bit of a scrappy game. It was very end-to-end. Bournemouth had a lot of pace. Arsenal had not a lot of pace, but a little bit. And it just felt like one of those scrappy games that weren't resulting in clear-cut chances. I think Arsenal didn't have a shot on target for the majority of that first half. I'd say pretty much all that first half, I'd say. And then obviously the red card happened. Now, I'm sure Arsenal fans, not everyone, but some Arsenal fans will be online today saying Arsenal were robbed. It was a mistake. The referees cost Arsenal the game. Let me give you a lesson in reality. No, they didn't. Saliba's was a red card because it is the last man. It was a clear open goal opportunity because, let's face it, if Saliba didn't bring down his man, there's the argument of would have caught up with him, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you catch up with them or not. It is the last man. He's going for goal. He's in a goal-scoring opportunity because he's onside, by the way. They've tried to bring out that argument already that it was offside. Newsflash, it was onside. And Evan Nilsson would have been through on goal. Last man, you bring him down, he's going to play up to it, whether it's enough contact or not. He's going to make the most of it in today's day and age. Saliba fell into the trap and he got caught big time. They set the trap, they caught him big time. Pulls him down, goes to VAR, pulls away the yellow card, straight red, 3-game ban for Saliba. So he's out for Liverpool, Preston and Newcastle because it's only for English competition. So I don't think, so it wouldn't affect the Champions League match against Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, again, like I said, Arsenal for me just lacked something. They lacked pace, they lacked power, they couldn't retain the ball for long periods of time. Shout out to Bournemouth. If that was Man City, it would have been 5 or 6 tonight. But fair play to Bournemouth. They did exactly what they needed to do today. They held, they compressed Arsenal, they were quick in retaining the ball, they were quick in recovering the ball back. They put Arsenal in an endangered situation time and time again. The pressure only mounted when the red card happened, but Arsenal didn't offer a lot in the final third regardless. I think Saka was, I wouldn't say a massive miss for Arsenal tonight, but I'd say he would have provided a lot more than Sterling, a lot more than Trossard tonight. I think a lot more than Martinelli as well when he came on the pitch. I think Saka would have done a bit more than them. I think Saka's probably the best winger they've got at the club right now. Is one of the best wingers of Arsenal Football Club's all time? Absolutely no chance. Look at the wingers in the Invincible era. Look at the wingers under Arsene Wenger. Look at the wingers under George Graham. Way better players than Saka right now. And they missed that pace. And Saka would have offered that. That's sod's law. Saka's injured, whatever. Bournemouth had a lot more pace. They had a lot more aggression, a lot more fight. They compressed Arsenal. They bullied them. They got the ball back time and time again, recovered it with the gegenpressing style, with the counter-pressing style. They were quick on their toes. They wanted it more. It felt like Arsenal were passengers almost. And people go online now saying, oh, you know, we didn't look too bad today. No, I don't. I think Arsenal were poor today. And as an Arsenal fan that backs Arteta, don't be afraid to call out Arsenal Football Club, when they have bad performances, you can still back your manager and call them out. Look at us today. Grant McCann stood after a late 2-1 victory away at Swindon, saying, I would have been stood here very disappointed if we drew 1-1. That's an elite mentality. Have the balls to come out and say, that wasn't a good performance, we need to do better, I still back Arteta, even though that performance weren't good enough, and we need to do better. Because Arsenal was second to everything in that game for me. And it wasn't great even before the red card. Bournemouth, for me, were the better team throughout, constantly the better team, and I can't say anything else apart from well done, Bournemouth. Arsenal, back to the drawing board for them. So let's pick out some players then. For Arsenal, I've picked out Ben White, and no, it's not for a good reason. Ben White really, really struggled today. For me, he was one of the worst of the defenders, probably the worst player on the pitch for Arsenal. He played the full 90 pretty much in that right back role today. I mean, looking at the stats of this guy, 91% pass accuracy, 29 out of 32, 47 touches overall, no accurate crosses, 1 accurate long ball, none of his tackles they won, 5 recoveries, 5 defensive actions in total, dribble past 3 times, won 4 duels, lost 5, lost 30, won 38% of his ground duels. He won the only aerial duel. Ben White, for me, just got cooked in so many different areas of that pitch. I felt like Bournemouth had what I like to call an overload shape on the fullback role. I think that Ben White was getting overloaded by 2-3 players at a time in moments. And when Bournemouth were on the ball as well, they just played it around Ben White like he was the piggy in the middle. And the Gunners barely fired today. And Ben White it was like being shot out of a cannon in midair. Ben White lost control of that channel, and he didn't have the best game today. On his best day, don't get me wrong, he's a decent player on his best day. I don't think today was his day. I think he had a poor game overall. And if he does start against Shakhtar Donetsk, if he does start against Preston, Liverpool, Newcastle, if he does end up complying into that role, going forward for the next few games, he's got to do better than he did today. And I think he knew that. I don't have to keep saying it. I think he knew he did poor today. And like I said, there's no doubt Ben White's a decent player on his day. It's just today, he just wasn't on it today. And for me, I feel like Ben White was just getting overloaded constantly by Bournemouth. And the pressure from Bournemouth, you could tell, not just Ben White, but other players as well. They were backpassing. They were backtracking. And they looked shaky on the ball. They were constantly passing it backwards, sideways, because there was constant pressure from the Cherries' front line and the midfield as well. So Ben White, for me, had a poor game, but he's not the only one. There's many, many others in that team today that had a disappointing outing today, should we say, in the Gunners' share. And Arsenal need to do better. So then, my top player of the match, my man of the match, goes to Bournemouth's Marcos Senesi. And oh my giddy auntie, this guy was amazing in defence. He was a rock-solid defender for Bournemouth today. 77% accurate passes, 46 out of 60 overall. 78 touches in total, 10 passes into the final third. He was a real forward-thinking playing defender. He didn't get his accurate cross or his long balls. He didn't get any of the ones that he did, but he won all of his tackles compared to Ben White. He had double the amount of defensive actions compared to Ben White. He made an interception, 5 recoveries, won 11 duels, lost just 2, better than Ben White. 100% ground duels won, 71% aerial duels won. He was over-averaging every single stat pretty much, barring some of the attacking stats. Senesi was fantastic today. He was just remarkable. His attention to detail as a defender is still spot on to me. He had a really good performance tonight. I think that Senesi's a really good player for Bournemouth. I think in the back line, he was solid, he was composed, he was structured. And that's the one thing I think Bournemouth defensively had over Arsenal. Composure, comfortability, calmness, structure, solidness. All the words you can think of about being a forward-thinking but also calm of mind and calm of feeling defensive line. Bournemouth dominated Arsenal in that route. There's no getting away from it. I don't want to see anyone trying to defend that performance from Arsenal. Bournemouth were the better team, and I would like to see more people come out on this. Some people, may not, but other people should be doing. And I don't, you know, like I said before, you can still back your manager. Just come out and say the performance weren't good enough, because it wasn't. And Bournemouth, for me, were the better team. And Senesi was a big part of that from a defensive point of view for Bournemouth. He was the man of the match because he was a calm, composed member of that back line who kept out everything Arsenal had to offer. And it's good to see Kepa, by the way, get a clean sheet. Good to see him get a clean sheet. And he'll like that. With being a former Chelsea player, he will like that victory better than anyone. So Senesi, for me, was a really good player. And for me, the man of the match of the night. So then looking ahead to the upcoming fixtures, then starting off with the winners, Bournemouth. Who have they got? Well, they're going away to Aston Villa on the 26th of October at Villa Park in the Premier League before hosting the current champions, and for me, the predicted champions, Manchester City, on the 2nd of November. A week later, they travel away to Brentford at the Brentford Community Stadium before hosting Brighton on the 23rd of November. Then they go away to Wolves on the 10th of November, and those are your next 5 fixtures for the Cherries. Now then, what about the mighty Arsenal? Well, we have 2 Champions League fixtures in amongst this next 5 block. So starting off, they're going to host Shakhtar Donetsk on Tuesday in the Champions League phase. Now, of course, they then host Liverpool on the Sunday at the Emirates Stadium. So 2 home games back to back, one on the Tuesday, one on the Sunday. Then on Wednesday the 30th of October, it's the round of 16 in the Carabao Cup as they go away to Deepdale and take on Preston North End. They then go away to St James's Park on Saturday the 2nd of November in the early kick-off against Newcastle United, before they go away on the 6th of November for the next league phase match in the UEFA Champions League, away Italian giants Internazionale, or Inter Milan. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for this new edition of The Final Whistle. I'll just say this in summary. Arsenal need to do better. Arsenal need to do better. They've got a lot of injuries right now. They're, in my opinion, not the best looking side in this league so far. I think that Liverpool and City have looked better. And they need to sort out a plan B, because when plan A doesn't work, I don't think Arsenal has a plan B. And I think that's the thing that's taking Arteta backwards. And I think if he's going to try and stay in the job, and if he wants the fans that are against him to turn back on side, he needs to find a plan B. He needs to go out in January and bring in the reinforcements that he didn't bring in the summer. From a Bournemouth perspective, great win. They're back in the top 10. They're not United down after their win against Brentford earlier this afternoon. And Bournemouth did very, very well tonight. And they deserve to be in the top 10 this weekend. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this edition of The Final Whistle. If you disagree with any of my opinions, don't be abusive in the comments. Don't be anything like that. I'm just saying what I see. If you don't like it, I respect the fact you don't like it. It's all about opinions. Football is an opinion game, and it's an opinion-based game, and it's all about giving your own opinion. If you don't agree with that opinion, that's fair enough. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But just be respectful. That's all we ask. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CHALL, and that is full time.
Right foot to copy.